Hi guys, I'm Richard Blaine. Thanks for stopping by my Easy Cooking channel and Easy Cooking blog tonight. Tonight, I'm not going to cook for you. The reason I'm not going to cook for you is I've been getting tons of private messages and emails asking for more sharpening videos. So tonight, I'm going to do some more sharpening for you. The last time we did sharpening, I did the Japanese style of sharpening, and today I'm going to do the Western style of sharpening and discuss some do's and don'ts. So as usual with YouTube, 15 minutes. Let's get going, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay guys, so the last time I did a sharpening video, we were working off the Japanese method of sharpening, where you lay the blade flat down on the stone, raise it up a little bit, move forward till you find your angle, and then lay back and work. Okay, this still applies. Now, as I said the last time, there are many ways to sharpen a knife, and they will all get the knife sharp, albeit that's not always the best way. I'm going to show you the Western style of sharpening, and basically it works like this. We lay the stone, we raise it, we move it forward till we find our angle when it bites, and lay it back. Here we are, the same way we did with the Japanese sharpening. And then we follow the shape of the blade. Okay, we follow the shape of the blade. Now the reason with this stroke that we follow the shape of the blade is because there is one inherent downside to sharpening your knives this way, the Japanese way. And that downside is that this portion of your knife, the belly, the curvature, okay, as you work the Japanese sharpening system over time, this belly can disappear, and instead of having a nice curve, the knife will just go straight because you're wearing the metal down. Okay. Now you still have to attain a burr doing it this way. You still have to attain a burr, and I'll admit that doing it this way takes a little longer. But if you are consistent with your knives and tune them frequently, then this will not take any time at all. Now this knife is dull, and I'm going to start from scratch. This is a diamond plate, and I think all of you know I use diamonds. This is a 220 grit diamond plate, and that's what I'm going to start this knife on to create my bevel. Now, this is going to take longer than the 15 minutes I have here on YouTube to do this, so I'm going to have to cut this short. But what you're going to see is here I am following the shape of the blade. I've discovered my angle. I know where the angle is. I'm using consistent pressure on both sides, equal pressure. You don't need to bear down with diamonds, but you want to follow the shape of the blade. I'm going to continue on, and then from this 220 grit, 220 mesh, I'm going to move on to a 325. So stay tuned. Okay, so now we started at a 120 grit, 120 mesh stone. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but the 120 grit gave us our starting bevel right here. You see it? Okay, right there. See? All right. So now we're going to move on to a 325 grit, 325 mesh stone. We use water as a carrier. Now what happens is when you use the more aggressive grits, or any grit for that matter, is that grit imparts scratches. This bevel is created by scratches, okay? Those scratches look like the barrel of a handgun or rifle. What you have is lands and grooves, okay? Now, each consecutive grit of stone or diamond with a higher number is going to remove the more aggressive scratches, the more aggressive lands and grooves, and replace those with a finer set of lands and grooves. And this process will continue to happen as we progress through the higher number grits until those lands and grooves have been polished away in the 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 grit arena. So what I'm doing here is I'm following the shape of the blade, and I am currently removing the lands and grooves, the scratches, from the more aggressive 220 grit that I used previously to create my bevel. Now I'm refining the bevel. Okay guys, so I've been working for about 10 or 15 minutes on 325 grit, and if you can see, here's the edge. You can see the bevel. There you go. Light catches it. Okay. It's a little rough because I'm not in HD. Okay. There you go. Okay. Now I'm going to take it down to a 600 grit. Okay. I'm going to follow the shape of the blade at 600. Okay. I'm going to work this blade at 600 for 5 or 10 minutes. It just depends. Okay. And then I'm going to move on to 1200 and beyond. Just remember, follow the shape of the blade. Nice, consistent strokes, covering as much of the medium as possible. Diamonds don't dish, diamonds don't gully, but you want to cover as much of the medium as possible. So when you see me here, I'm covering just about 99% of the surface, following the shape of the blade in a grinding stroke. Okay? I'm going to work this for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we're going to move on. By the way, I'm using a Japanese knife. I'm not going to tell you what name, what brand it is, because I'm not advertising. But this particular Japanese knife is ground in a saber, in a V grind, very thin. Even though it's not an asymmetric Japanese grind, at a V grind, this is still a superior cutter over 99% of the European knives, because even though this is a V grind, the blade is very thin. And the principle, like I've mentioned before, the thinner the blade, the better the cutter. Okay, I've been working on the 600 grit for about 10 minutes, and now I'm taking the blade to a 1200 grit, 1200 mesh diamond. Now have no doubt, sharpening one knife from dull can take 30 minutes or more to get it to the state of perfection that you want. If your knife is absolutely dull, rounded edge, it can take you 30 minutes or longer to get the knife to the kind of cutting perfection that you want it to be in. Okay, so I finished on the 1200 grit, and now I'm going to hit the knife on a ceramic, about 1500 grit, maybe 16 here. Very smooth. Polish out the scratches from all the diamonds. Turn this into a really good slicing edge. So I'm going to work this for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'm going to go to about a 2000 grit ceramic. And then if I feel like it, I usually don't go beyond 2000, but if I feel like it, I might go beyond the 2000. So let's see what happens. A few minutes right here, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've worked the knife on about a 1200 diamond, about a 1500 ceramic. This here's about an 1800, maybe 2000 ceramic. And I'm just going to stroke this blade. Okay, put that mirror polish on it. Okay. There we go. Just follow the shape of the blade. So I'm going to work this into this ceramic. And then I think I'm going to whip out a black surgical Arkansas to finish it up. And then we'll be done. All the scratches from all the prior grits are basically gone. And all I'm doing here is micro beveling down and polishing the blade. So hang on tight. Okay guys, I don't know if you can see it because I'm not using a high def camera, but that bevel is an extremely high polish right now. Okay, but I'm whipping out a surgical black Arkansas. I've had this stone for a long time, and as the name indicates, surgical, it's a piece of novaculite indicative to America, Arkansas. And this is the kind of stone where you would sharpen up a scalpel. And that's why it's called surgical. And all you need is very, very light strokes. So I'm going to work this blade on this surgical black Arkansas for a couple of minutes. And then we're going to be all done. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Hang on tight. Okay guys, so I've taken this knife all the way up to a surgical black Arkansas. And yeah, it's sharp. Now, I don't have a whole lot of hair left on my arm, but you could probably hear it popping the hair, and you could probably see the hair leaving my hand. Okay? This knife is sharp. Right? I don't mind doing this. I've been doing this for years. There you go. Right around the knuckle. There you go. All right. The nail, well, okay, and of course, feathering some paper. Okay. Feather. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Always razor sharp. Okay? Always razor sharp. Nothing less. Okay? Oops, missed. Okay? Multiple sheets. Okay? I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Hey guys, this is Richard Blaine here. I want to thank you for watching my sharpening video tonight. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you learned to sharpen your knives from it. I know you can get them razor sharp. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you on my next video. Thanks for stopping by. Take care.